what Becca's asked me to do is just briefly set out some of the areas where this change will have implications, how we approach business cases specifically in the region. So let's move down one. Right, so obviously Joseph has discussed the heightened importance of the strategic case, which obviously is hugely welcomed across the region, and really how we use the evidence base for the region, really effectively utilise that to deliver impact and set clear objectives to deliver outcome for the region is something we really strongly support. So fundamental to all this is obviously the capacity to support the process and see how we can reduce the outsourcing. We have a range of experts and networks across the regions with expertise across all the cases. So how do we identify and build and invest in this expert network locally and ensure we have the processes in place so that we can utilise and really share our expertise, which will be key to ensuring a consistent approach to this. Beck will set out the training plan that we have in place. But the review really highlights the need for a really constructive conversation about how we achieve policy objectives rather than, as Joseph said, focusing on how we just try to get the best BCR. We obviously welcome the greater transparency from Treasury on how decisions are taken, and the new requirements to publish the summary business case within 4 months. So how we can learn from others will be a really useful tool for us. So this effective knowledge exchange and joint working around business case development is welcomed. The need, obviously, to bring out green impact strongly in the strategic case, which will be a major part of all large-scale projects, is aligned to all our local plans, and how we can identify sort of guidelines that will develop and that we can share across the region so that we can best integrate these impacts into business cases so that we can have recognizing that every project will be different, but how can we ensure a standard and consistent approach to this will be important. To support this, we've been working on the development of a comprehensive suite of logic change, or theory of change models to enable partners in the development of business cases and just provide some guidelines in terms of how program and projects are developed so that we can look at the alignments of outputs and outcomes to achieve the objectives required. And obviously the interconnectivity between the 5 cases and ensuring objectives are embedded throughout is really critical. So this consistent approach, taking the development of the golden thread from the objectives to programs down to projects and improve focus on outcomes will really help us as a region to have greater clarity and really understanding the impact of what we're funding collectively and how those areas that might require greater collaboration and funding will become even more apparent. We really welcome, obviously, the importance of the non-monetized as well as the monetized benefits and costs. The benefits as well, looking broader, so that we look at health and social impact, and the environmental is key for the region. So again, working in partnership to identify this consistent approach to help with the development of guidelines and how we estimate the benefits. And then lastly and critically, the requirement to include a place-based analysis. That's a great opportunity to identify areas of focus and collaboration and greater economies of scale. Traditionally, projects can be just looked at in isolation. So really understanding how new projects and programs could interact within existing activity is really important. And that really heightens the importance of our place-based narrative and our evidence base. Obviously, then embedding from the initial project idea, robust, high quality evaluation is really important, and sharing and working with the What Works Centre and our local networks to ensure that we can really understand impact and the lessons learned will enable us to have a clear place-based narrative to enable us to attract the investment required to achieve our region's ambitions. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Delma. I suppose the context as well in terms of that is myself and Delma have been working over the last few years looking at this and trying to develop these logic chains, which we've done at a high level, but they're examples of what you might want to do in terms of projects. And it fits within the work that Delma and I also do in terms of the state of the region and monitoring the challenges and issues that we face as a region.